Hey everyone, happy Monday. I'm coming on to do bonus video teachings this week here on YouTube because that is what the universe needs apparently right now. So if you're tuning into one of my videos for the very first time and you don't know who I am, my name is Stef. I'm a psychic soul alignment coach. What I do is I work with spiritual entrepreneurs to help them to create their greatest level of success, influence, impact, and income. And every Friday I come on to my YouTube channel to do video teachings that I'm guided to speak on. But this week is going to be an exceptional kind of week, or an exception, I don't know, whatever the word is. Because this week I'm going to be doing videos every single day to explain the importance of clearing imbalances of energy in your different chakras. So maybe tomorrow, when I have a chance to be able to do this here on the corner somewhere, there's going to be an option to click on a card of a past video that I did here on my YouTube channel. I uploaded it to my channel. That was a video that I did a couple years ago explaining how important it is to clear imbalances in your chakras. And I had teachings that went very in depth with each and every single chakra as to how those imbalances manifest. But over the weekend, I was watching a couple of those videos and I was just like, I feel like I need to redo these videos and bring different information forward for them, for the people who are meant to receive them. So that is what I'm going to be doing this week. Is I'm going to be going in depth as to, the importance of clearing imbalances or blocks in these different chakras one by one, so that you can receive that information and use it to your advantage to allow yourself to move forward in your journey, okay? All right, so now that I've gotten done with all of that, today's video is all about the root chakra, okay? So your root chakra, okay, as I explained in that video on my channel, you can search for it in my channel if you like, but we have 7 primary chakra centers going down from the crown of our head, down to the base of our spine, right? There are other chakra systems out there, but I'm talking about the 7 for right now. So the root chakra, or the base chakra, is at the base of our spine, okay? Now, this is the first chakra center that develops in our bodies when we are coming into existence. So this is what develops because the spine, when it starts developing inside of us, when we are in our mother's womb, it starts developing from the base and then moves its way up the spinal column, right? So that is the first energy center that develops inside of ourselves. Now, our root chakra, or our base chakra, whichever term you prefer to call it, is the center that really is all about our survival, having our basic needs met. It's connected to sex. It's connected to shelter. It's really about the part of us that is just really focused on making sure that we stay alive. That's basically what the root chakra is for. And the question that often comes with this root chakra, because it's like our first center, is when we come into existence, it's really about, hey, do I belong in this world? And is this world going to support me, basically, okay? That's really kind of like the questions that go with that first chakra center. Because when you come here, obviously, into existence, you're alone. And so you need to make sure that you belong here on this world, and the world is going to support you. So you need to make sure that you have a place here, and that whatever's around you, the people around you, the environment around you, is going to support you in sustaining you and keeping you alive and well as you move forward. So the root chakra is very much responsible for a lot of our survival instinct, our primal instinct of, making sure our needs are met. It governs that aspect of us that is like flight or fight or freeze mode, where certain things come and we're just like, hold on a second, like, how do I react to this? Because it's very instinctual, it's very primal. So those are the aspects that are connected to the root chakra. Now, because this is the first center that develops inside of ourselves and it governs our survival, this is the center that quite often has the most challenges or blocks inside of us, okay? And the reason for that is that the root chakra is very much connected to a lot of our ancestral karma, okay? So we're all inheriting on some kind of level karma from previous generations. There's even science that backs that up to a certain extent. With scientific terminology and explanations, it's called epigenetics. Look it up. But in a sense, the root chakra is quite often, has a lot of this karmic stuff from past generations. And it's the center in ourselves that quite often has the most challenges or blocks in it, because it's our first energetic center that we develop. And it has like the greatest impact of our lives because it's the first thing. And so from that moment on that we exist, from the time we're in our mom's womb and then we come out into this world, it's like the one that is exposed to all of these experiences, all these things going on in our environment. So because I feel it has a greater exposure to all of that, it's quite often the one that has the greatest blocks, on top of the fact that a lot of our ancestral karmic stuff is right there as well. So we all have these kinds of blocks or imbalances inside of our root chakra, and probably in all of our chakras on some level, but there's nothing to fear around that. It's just a matter of being aware of these imbalances throughout our entire chakra system or our bodies, and just doing our best to continuously bring them back into alignment. So this root chakra, because it has, this, its function is primarily over our survival instinct, our ability to make sure that our needs are met and so on. If we have had, our survival needs met, so food, water, shelter, love, affection, safety, if we've had that met, then quite oftentimes our root chakra will be very strong and sturdy. Also, you need to keep in mind that because it's at the base of our spine, this is also a chakra, an energy center that is very much responsible for our foundation in our physical bodies as well as in life. So when we have strong, healthy root chakras, because our needs have been met from the time we, came into existence in our mother's womb and came out into the world, and we had all these needs met, then we have quite oftentimes healthier bodies, and we're able to create healthier, more harmonious and abundant lives. Because if your needs were met when you were developing and you were made to feel like you belonged in this world and that the world was always going to be safe and supportive of you, then you live your life in the world expecting that from life, expecting people to welcome you, to be good to you, right? That you belong, right? But when you haven't had your needs met, so you haven't had that love, that affection, that emotional well-being or support, shelter, whatever other needs you needed met, if you haven't had that in life and you have imbalances and you didn't feel safe, you didn't feel like you belonged from a very young age, then quite oftentimes that's going to manifest itself as you live your life in you having an imbalanced foundation in your life. So it's going to be difficult for you to maybe provide for yourself, to maybe receive affection, to give affection, to take care of yourself in your own needs, to really be able to, just feel safe in the world, secure, to be yourself. Okay. And your health will quite oftentimes be negatively affected, because if you don't have that strong foundation, then your body will have some challenges. So maybe you'll have, challenges with your skeletal structure or other organs that are directly connected to this root chakra. Now, I'm currently not super informed on all the different organs and their emotional connections, but when you have imbalances in your root chakra, you will quite often manifest that in your day-to-day life as having an imbalanced foundation in your life. So it's going to be hard for you to take care of yourself. You're probably going to have challenges with literally like looking after yourself, in the sense of maybe how you show up in the world, your appearance, your health, your well-being, providing for yourself financially, all these kinds of things. Okay. when you have imbalances. So when you are able to have a strong root chakra, that's when you're able to feel secure in yourself, you're fearless, you trust life, you move forward through life with so much more ease and grace. Because again, from very young, from the time you were in the womb, if you were made to feel safe, loved, supported, like you belonged, your needs were going to be met, you're going to feel secure. You're going to trust. You're going to not be as afraid. But if your needs weren't met again and again, then your flight response is going to be triggered inside of you from a very young age over and over and over again. And you're going to wonder whether you can trust people, whether you can trust life, whether things are going to work out or not. And you're going to be maybe afraid of the other shoe dropping all the time and all these different things, right? So if this is how you've been living your life, feeling a bit off and unsafe and feeling like negative things are always going to happen and all these different things, then chances are you have root chakra imbalances, okay? And if you're a person that's especially like overly afraid of things, you have a lot of fears for whatever reason, then you might definitely have some root chakra imbalances inside of yourself that you need to have a closer look at. Now, the reason that your root chakra definitely has such a great impact in your body and your physical well-being is because this root chakra that's at the base of your spine, right, is the base of your life force energy. This is where the universal energy can come up and flow through, and it's circulating this energy. It's kind of like, blood circulating through your entire system. But if there's a block there, if you have imbalances, then that blood, for example, is not going to flow through your body, your organs, the way it needs to. Things aren't going to be oxygenated like they need to, right? I don't know if that's a word, but I made that up. So this is the same kind of thing as, with root chakra imbalances. This is like the part through which energy can enter. And if that has imbalances and it's blocked in some kind of way, then it's going to naturally affect your physical body, your organs, and your life, right? Your energy, which then compromises your ability to manifest the things that you desire. So it's really important for you to take a closer look at yourself to see what imbalances you might have there that are impacting your health as well as your life, okay? When you have root chakra imbalances, quite oftentimes this will manifest as, a lack of vitality, a lack of zest for life. You're not going to really feel excited and good with life, right? Because again, the life force energy can't pass up through you and you're feeling unsafe and insecure in the world. So how can you even really feel excited about life? How can you look forward to life? So if you're having these challenges with, how you live your life, then chances are you might be having these imbalances or these blocks inside of your root chakra, because when you can clear that up, that's when you feel good to live your life and you're going about your things and you're just having the best time ever, okay? So this is what needs to be addressed. Also, when you have root chakra imbalances, this can quite often manifest in the form of anxiety, depression, lots of heavy, lower vibrational emotions, and it might even cause you to not even have an interest in taking care of yourself. I'm sure maybe you've seen in movies or, people in person who kind of just have given up on themselves. Like they don't really care about themselves. They don't care about taking care of their physical bodies. They let themselves go. This is quite often sometimes seen in the homeless people sometimes, not all homeless people, but I know sometimes that there are some homeless people that completely just have kind of given up on themselves. Like they don't really care. And this is very much connected to root chakra blocks, okay? It's that lack of interest in your own self-preservation, okay? Also, when you have these root chakra imbalances, as I said, because you don't feel safe and secure in the world, you don't feel supported, you might develop these patterns of being very pessimistic, having just a lot of negative thinking, You might feel like an outsider, like you don't belong, because again, root chakra is very much connected to our sense of belonging in the world and our relationship to the world, right? And so if you have these imbalances, you might feel like you don't belong, you're an outsider, you're completely different from people. And this makes you feel uncomfortable, right? This makes you feel like you can't develop connections. This makes you feel alone, because there's nothing wrong with being, in a sense, having the sense of identity, like you're different or you're from another place or planet, right? But when it makes you feel like you can't relate to other people, when it makes you feel miserable for feeling so different, misunderstood, and it makes your human experience such a challenge, then quite often you have root chakra imbalances, okay? Because me personally, I know I'm not from here. I know I'm not from Earth. And in the past, I did feel like I didn't belong, and I felt out of place in the world, and I felt very frustrated with that. However, as I've gone on my own healing journey and I've cleared a lot of things, like I can still hold that identity of, yes, I'm not really from here, but I belong here at the same time, and I'm good with being here on Earth and living my life and doing what I'm doing, right? So it's when that sense of not belonging is detrimental or feels negative or heavy to you, or is unsupportive of you developing connections here in the world, that you probably have these root chakra imbalances that you need to have a closer look at in order to heal those things, okay? And to really integrate here into the human experience that we're all having. Okay, also with root chakra imbalances, you might have poor focus, and this is because, again, the energy isn't able to flow through you effortlessly in the way in which it's intended. So if the energy is not flowing, then you really have challenges with focusing. And I cannot stress that enough, because every morning I do a grounding meditation to make sure my energy is in the right place for the day. And the days that I don't do this energy work, I have very poor focus. I have trouble getting things done. I'm just all over the place. So that's why when you have these root chakra imbalances, if you have trouble focusing, I know sometimes people feel like they have certain conditions like ADD or ADHD or something like that. And I'm not discounting that maybe you have that situation, okay? But quite oftentimes that can be connected to a root chakra imbalance. And when you clear these imbalances up, then the energy can flow more easily through you, and you're able to focus so much more, and not be all over the place, okay? Now, I'm not saying this is a cure for these kinds of conditions or situations like ADHD or ADD, because everyone is unique and everyone has unique imbalances. However, this is a possibility. That's what I want you to get out of this. So also, going back to what I said earlier about the root chakra being connected to ancestral energy. See, depending on where your family is from in the world and so on, if your family experienced situations in life and history in which their survival instincts were consistently compromised, like they went through wars or other really difficult situations like natural disasters or whatever it is, and it really made it difficult for them to provide for themselves, to feel safe, to feel supported, to feel just unsafe because maybe they went through very difficult political situations, right? If your family members went through this kind of intense experience, like, for example, during the Holocaust, during some of the world wars, where people just experienced a number of different things and their sense of safety and well-being, and like support was very much compromised. If you inherited that karmic energy from them, and on top of that, you had difficult experiences in your own life with having your own needs met, then chances are you have root chakra imbalances that you need to have a closer look at to heal from that stuff, so that you can have a strong foundation in life, and so that you're able to more easily have your needs met in life, okay? Because otherwise it will be a challenge. And I don't like saying that, but it's the truth. been the truth in my experience and with working with so many people, that when you have these imbalances in your energy, you have major challenges with becoming a match for what you desire. So when you are carrying this energy inside of yourself, it's difficult for you to be able to manifest that sense of safety and security and fearlessness that you want in life. Okay. So it's really important to take notice and to be aware of the fact that if your family experienced some of these kinds of situations, then chances are you in your own way kind of are repeating some of those generational patterns. So maybe you didn't go through, extreme famine or war or political unrest or whatever, but to a certain degree, that's probably in your DNA, it's probably in your energy, it's probably imbalanced energy in your root chakra. And as a result, you're playing out those patterns in your life in some way where you're having challenges, really providing for yourself and giving yourself that sense of safety, sense of well-being, shelter, food, having your emotional needs met, etc. Okay. So this is very important to be mindful of. Also, what happens is that with root chakra imbalances, quite often people will sometimes display this in life through greed or overeating. And this is because, again, the root chakra governs our survival instinct. So when we are in the survival mode, then we're trying to preserve ourselves a lot of times, right? We're trying to make sure that we stay alive. And so when our root chakra has been compromised and we haven't felt safe and we're just like in this fight or flight mode trying to stay alive, quite often this will manifest in us overeating because we don't know when the next plate of food is going to come, or being super greedy and taking all this money and sometimes doing very mean things to other people in order to get this money because we have to look after ourselves first and foremost. And sometimes it's like, screw everyone else. Like, I got to look after me. But the reason that those kinds of behaviors are manifesting through that person is because quite often they had challenges in their own life experiences, and they have these imbalances in their root chakra, which are then driving a lot of that sometimes toxic or destructive behavior. Okay. I really want you guys to understand this, because something that I really do my best to promote in the things that I do, and something that I do my best to practice as well, is releasing judgment of other people and getting frustrated with them and really trying to understand where they're coming from. And I really noticed through my own experience, because I have a relative who I would objectively label as greedy. And I really had a lot of difficulty with this person growing up when I became aware of this. And as I've gone on my own healing journey and I've learned to open my heart and to release judgment, I really came to have more compassion for that person, because I know what their upbringing was like and I know the difficulties that they endured. And I could understand what was driving that greedy behavior. And I could hold more love and compassion for them. So I'm not saying to excuse people's behavior. It's obviously not nice when people do these kinds of things because they're so greedy. But at the same time, quite often what's driving that greedy behavior is imbalances in the root chakra, right? And these imbalances can manifest, as I said, as well as in overeating. It's very easy to judge other people for overeating and to say mean things about them. But again, it's because they quite often have this imbalance in their root chakra. And what's giving them that sense of safety quite oftentimes is extra food or more food. And I know that from my own personal experience, because I used to overeat a lot. And I didn't notice that for a really long time because it was just normal behavior for me. And it's how my whole family ate. And it's how I grew up eating and what I observed from others, right? Until I started my healing work. And as I healed, I really started noticing that naturally I just ate a lot less. Instead of eating 2 plates of food the way a man that's like 6 foot something would eat, I would just eat one plate of food. I'm 5'2", so I used to eat 2 plates of food. Can you imagine? And that was like no big deal to me. But as I've healed, that overeating, those behaviors just naturally faded away. And I was able to lose weight without even trying. And so that's sometimes what drives all of these kinds of behaviors, is that imbalance in our chakras. And particularly in this case, it's root chakra, because again, survival. You want to feel comforted. Again, root chakra is connected also to having that sense of safety, which can come from not just having, shelter, food, water, but also having your emotional needs met, feeling safe. And if you didn't feel safe, sometimes we take that safety in the form of eating with food, because food, what it does to us on a biochemical level is it releases some kind of feel-good hormones. I don't know all those scientific terminology, but it releases some kind of feel-good hormones, which makes us feel good. This is in part why people eat food, for example, at funerals or like wakes, whatever the thing is after the funeral. No disrespect to the funerals, but I don't remember the word. So when people get together after the funeral to eat and stuff, that's comfort food, right? After we've had difficult times, because it literally does comfort us. There are hormones that are released that make us feel good. So this is part of the reason why people are driven then sometimes to overeat, is those imbalances in those root chakras. And they're using this as a way to cope, as a way to navigate that, right? So it's very easy to judge people who are overeating, and especially when they're overweight and they're overeating. It's very easy to judge, but you got to really take a step back and notice that that person probably has some root chakra imbalances because of things that they experienced in their lives, and to hold compassion for them and do your best to support them. Do your best to support them, because they're not consciously trying to do it. It's something internal that is driving them to do this. I don't know why I'm getting all emotional, but I'm getting emotional. So just do your best not to judge people when they're going through these kind of things, okay? And root chakra, again, survival mode. Also, I'm all over the place with this video today, but whatever. I hope you're getting lots of value of it. Let me know in the comments below that you're getting value out of this, and that it's opening your eyes to something new, that you're learning new things. Because that is always awesome to know that people are benefiting from what I'm doing, even if sometimes it's like a hot mess of things and I'm all over the place. But the other thing that I want to say to the root chakra imbalances is that, again, because this is the first chakra center that we develop when we, come here into existence, and it's very much governed by our survival mode. And it's the chakra that usually holds a lot of experiences and things inside of us. The root chakra is quite often where we store a lot of our familial beliefs, a lot of our familial patterns, what causes us to start forming a sense of identity. Because when we're babies, we're children, we don't know who we are. When we're young, when we're babies, it's only when maybe we're about 3, 4, 5 years old, I guess, that we start developing more of an identity. But the root chakra is like that foundational piece, okay? Because again, root at the base of your spine, it's your foundation. It's not just your foundation for your physical body, it's your foundation for your life. And so it's the foundation for your identity. So this is where we quite often store a lot of these familial beliefs, these patterns, these dynamics inside of ourselves. So this is why if we were raised in an environment, a family environment where maybe people were not nice and they were uncaring and unsupportive and all of these different mean things, those patterns sometimes get stored there, and they cause these imbalances in the root chakra. And how this can sometimes manifest in life is that you repeat those same kinds of patterns, that you behave in that same kind of way. And if that's not the case, then you manifest the opposite. And the opposite is you're totally the opposite of what you experience, so much so that it's to your own detriment. So for example, if you grew up in an environment where people were not loving, they were not caring, they didn't really provide for you consistently, they didn't support you, they didn't give you affection, these kinds of things, and you grew up seeing that, you could either grow up to repeat that with your own family, repeating those patterns, those beliefs, those challenges with your own family, your own children. Or you could end up doing the opposite and being like so overgiving, so like all the time just wanting to love people to the point where you're like smothering them and you're too much, you know, and maybe overbearing, or you just giving and self-sacrificing in order to not be like the people who raised you, right? And so neither is really optimal, right? Because both are on extreme ends of the spectrum. You want to try to find that balance. So the way to do this is by clearing those root chakra imbalances to create a new family dynamic that is actually really healthy and supportive of everyone. Okay. So one last thing that I want to say to this video, or about this video, is that a lot of times spiritual people get so super focused on the higher chakras, the, crown, the third eye, and maybe the throat, they're in the heart. So people, a lot of times spiritual people, they try to focus on these three because they're trying to achieve enlightenment, because it's just feels maybe better, feels high vibe, it feels lighter, these kinds of things. However, you need to understand that as being a human here in the physical world, you have this physical existence that you're, in. You need to also be very grounded in this physical existence. So you need to also have alignment and balance in your first few chakras, right? Especially your root chakra, because this is literally, it's like a tree and it anchors you here into this earth. And so you need to make sure that you have a strong, healthy chakra, and that this chakra, you're clearing up any imbalances that you have as they show up, to really anchor yourself here on this earth and feel good, feel centered, feel grounded, feel secure, instead of kind of like floating all over the place by just remaining in the higher chakras, right? And also, when you have a strong root chakra, this is also super important, because this is what grounds you to reality. And if you want to manifest things, like by bringing them here, making them physical things, right? You need to be grounded in the physical reality as well. So if you stay in the higher realms, yes, you can create, and you can, create with energy and all these different things. But in order to anchor that down here into the physical, you need to have a strong root chakra. You need to have a balanced one, a healthy one, to really anchor this in here into the physical as well. Take it from the energetic realm and bring it down here into the physical. So that's also part of the reason why it's important to clear up those chakra imbalances, because this will allow for you to actually make those ideas, those dreams, those things that you want to manifest actually tangible. But you need to clear up those things. And it also helps you to find balance here in your energy as well, because you're balancing the higher chakras with the lower chakras. And a lot of times spiritual people don't like focusing on the lower chakras, because, as I said, your root chakra is the first one that you have that develops. Then you have your next chakra, which is your sacral, and your solar plexus. And because these develop in order, quite often these are the ones that hold the most trauma, the most low vibrational emotions, painful memories, things. And quite oftentimes spiritual people shy away from that, or people in general shy away from that, because it's uncomfortable looking at the pain and the things that we hold within ourselves. And we want to just feel good all the time. We want to be, high vibing and high on life. But that's not always the case. You have to find that balance, and you have to be willing to look at those deeper, dark aspects of yourself and to clear that, to have a healthy, root chakra and sacral and solar plexus and stuff, and balance the two energies between the higher chakras and the lower chakras, right? Whew. All right. So I think that's it that I wanted to share today in this video. I really hope that this has helped you. If it has, please give this video a thumbs up, a like wherever you're watching from. Be sure to drop me a comment here on YouTube, letting me know how this video supported you today, what questions you might have. I would really love to hear from you, because then that helps me to see what else I can do to assist you with your own journey. And if you are interested in knowing what healing work you might need to do on yourself, then I definitely invite you to download my 101 Ways to Know You Need Healing Work checklist. This is a checklist that contains 101 beliefs, behaviors, reactions, and fears and things that really help you to notice whether you might have some healing work to do or not. And so that is a checklist that I'm giving away. I will drop that in the comments of this video for you to download if you would like to receive that. And that's basically it. So thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate you. I really hope that this has served you. If you know of anyone who could benefit from this, please share this video with them. And I will see you tomorrow for the next video on sacral chakra. If you're watching this video at a later time, I'm sure there will be a card somewhere up here for you to click on so you can go check that video out as well. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.